Yo, what's up, guys? Let's clear out the board. Let's find some plays. Let's find some really good bets. So we got Thursday night football, and we are going to be locking in some plays. I'm going to focus on the main sports books out there. So this play we hit earlier, I mean, it still looks absolutely incredible. Damian Lillard under 3.5 made threes. Hit this earlier at on Fliff. I think we had like 9-8 plays on the live stream earlier, so we're going to fly through a bunch. We got this play earlier at plus 100 from the OddsJam Positive EV tool, which again is just going to scan the market, point out value, so you can still see, right? The way you want to think as a sharp bettor is all these books have sophisticated models. All these books have invested, a ton of money in their ability to set lines. They're taking bets, moving lines around. All these books, aside from Fliff is the only book with the over juiced, the overs favored. All these other books have the under as a pretty big favorite around minus 145 odds. Bet Online, a pretty sharp sports book, known to be a smart sports book. They have this at minus 149. But anyways, we got a lot of bets to place. So without further ado, let's just kind of get into it. So why don't we start out in the Lakers-Thunders game? Over 236 points, plus 125 odds. So we can pull up the line movements. And this is kind of what's crazy about sports betting is all these books set their own odds, which is crazy if you think about it. But, they all do it independently. So whenever there's, news in the market, so like if you look at anytime there's an injury, a player who's not playing, starting lineup change, that affects the odds, right? If LeBron's not playing, that doesn't only affect the money line, it affects the total. It affects Anthony Davis's player props. The whole market's interconnected. So we want to go to the alternate total points, column, and hopefully we didn't miss this damn bet. Over 236 points at plus 125. This is our profit margin, 4.66%, right? So 250. And that will be the first bet of this live stream. And this play has a 4.66% profit margin, right? You can see Pinnacle, the sharpest book in the world. They're all the way down at plus 108. Very tight market, NBA totals, super tight markets, super active markets. So this is a bet, we're really confident in our edge. Damn. And you can see too, there's some lines moving. I mean, this game starts here pretty soon, but let me plug in my computer. We'll go to PrizePicks as well. Hopefully there's some good value on PrizePicks. We got some plays in earlier, so let's see. So the first play is Brandon Aubrey to hit over 1.5 field goals. So let's just go through this play real quickly. This looks like the best play for Thursday Night Football. So if you go through the math behind, PrizePicks, on PrizePicks, you got to be able to win these over-unders above 54.25% of the time to be profitable. So if you can win these prop bets, 55% of the time, 56% of the time, you're going to be profitable. But that means you need a real advantage. You need a real edge. If you're winning your player props 55% of the time, that means you're only losing 45% of your over-unders. And that's what it takes to be profitable on PrizePicks. If you kind of go through the math, behind a 5 flex, which we got tons of videos about on, on YouTube and, threads on Twitter, tons of stuff like that. But anyways, why don't we try to find some other good bets? You can see there's some esports plays, but let's check out OddsJam and let's just kind of see what options we have available. So we got our first pick, Brandon Aubrey, over 1.5 field goals made. So field goals made. I mean, kind of random market, but if that's where the value is, that's what we're going to be betting on. Like PrizePicks has tens of thousands of lines up. We're trying to zone in on those few spots where they're actually screwing up, right? Where we're actually getting plays with an edge. So if we go to player field goals made, you'll see like all the sports books have Brandon Aubrey as a really big favorite. Caesars has him minus 174. All these books are telling you through their odds, through their market, that he's super heavily favored to go over. So that's a play with an edge on PrizePicks. A lot of people like to look at these historical graphs, but I mean, every game is different. Cowboys obviously have been putting up a lot of touchdowns. But, everything's baked into the market. The odds that books are putting out, huge favorite to go over. So that's a great play to go with. But anyways, let's find some other picks. So while this is reloading, I mean, let's see if we can find anything on Fliff as well. So we got one play on Fliff. Damian Lillard under. We got this play on the Lakers game. So a lot of times you'll see when a sports book, in this case Fliff, when they're stale, the rest of the market has, moved odds. You can see like towards the over. And Fliff is still stale, giving us this at plus 135. We already bet the over 236, over 237. Also looks like a pretty good play. Fliff has a max bet size of, $250. So depending on your bankroll, so max bet size of 250, if you only want to pick one play, I always recommend just take the higher profit margin play. But if Fliff only has a max bet of 250 and you want to get some more action down, you can throw some money on the 237 as well. So we got one play on PrizePicks. Let's kind of see what else we got. So I'm not really sure why George in the Jazz game, it doesn't look like a bunch of books have his lineup. Did he get, some injury news going on in the Jazz game? I'm not sure why we don't see more books with odds on George. So it looks like books are starting to post odds. Underdogs dropped him to 13.5. FanDuel has his line at 13.5. But it's kind of weird, like PointsBet, Bet365. Not a bunch of books have odds up on George Keontae. So what we can do is we want to go to, where is he? So it looks like PrizePicks actually just completely removed him, Keontae George. So let's refresh this, and you can see it moved. So, that's kind of the hard part about sports betting is this really is a market. You got to day trade the sports books. Injuries are happening. Lines are moving. This isn't about, it's about getting really good odds. Just like when you're a trader, it really depends the price you're getting. You may like buying Facebook at $300, like selling it at $350. Is everything depends on the odds you're getting, the price you're getting, and it's important to, be quick. So we got two plays in the Lakers game. Now in the Bucks game, I mean, we can take a look here at kind of the line movements. You can see the market's kind of steaming towards the under. Fliff still has this line at minus 115, so that seems good. Again, they just moved the play on George, so we're not going to be able to play that. So we can play another play on Fliff, or we can just get to, this PrizePick slip that we're building. So why don't we do that? We don't have a ton of time until the game start. So Cook's under 3.5 receptions. I mean, this play seems good, but I don't really love pairing it with Brandon Aubrey. Because again, they're on the same team. So if the Cowboys are putting up points, Cooks is more likely to be on the field longer, getting receptions. So when you're playing things in the same game, it doesn't really make sense to pair together. If the picks don't make sense, what would make sense to pair well together is Dak under 25.5 completions and Cooks under 3.5 receptions. But, there's no value on it. But again, the basic strategy for beating PrizePicks is all the books have Cooks heavily favored to go under. PrizePicks, they give you the same damn payout. If you take them to go over or under, you always get the same payout, right? PrizePicks is a fixed payout platform. So if we want to take, any play on, Brandon Cooks, we want to take his under because all the books have him heavily favored to go under. So there's some UFC plays for this weekend, but I mean, let's see what else we got kind of here. So we can refresh this. We got this play on Brandon Aubrey. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to take touchdowns, right? Why would we take Jake Ferguson to score a touchdown if we're betting on Brandon Aubrey to go over in field goals? Those plays are definitely not positively correlated. But what we can do is we can take Patrick Williams. So you look at the sportsbook odds here. All the books have Williams heavily favored to go over 4.5 rebounds. So sometimes it seems like these are the most fuckers removed it already. So PrizePicks moves lines quickly. I'm trying to move as quickly as I can to find 5 plays with value. We want 5 bets with value. Again, what's kind of annoying about PrizePicks is they give you shitty payouts, only a 5x payout, betting 20 to win 100, for these 3-pick entries. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, much better, right? You're betting, I mean, they limited me to only $20 a bet, but it's 20 to win 120. So you're getting a 6x payout. So it does matter, how many picks you're going with on each of these sports books. So anyways, the Fantasy Optimizer just kind of scans PrizePicks. It's a good starting point for finding your bets and just points out like, hey, there's some value here. There's some value here. There's some value here. So let's look at some plays in the NBA. So we got John Collins under 6.5 rebounds, right? Boom. All the books have him heavily favored to go under. Pinnacle, the sharpest book, they have him as a minus 147 favorite to go under. So that's pretty impactful, right? He's a big favorite to go under 6.5 rebounds. So that's a play we like. And then we can also take, Bogdanovich under 20.5 points plus rebounds. You can see basically every other sports book has him at 19.5. So let's go here to Bogdanovich, and we want to take him under 20.5 points plus rebounds. And, you can see lines are moving around. Just like this play on George. I don't know if some lineup news came out, but this is just the OddsJam, sports book screen. Kind of shows you where all these books have their line set. But what we can do is we can go over to Bogdanovich and, let's take a look. So, you can see like Caesars, BetMGM, like all these other books, Underdog, all these books have sophisticated models. They're taking bets, moving lines around. They all have him lower at 19.5. I mean, pretty clear that there's value on the under, just kind of following the data points we have in the market. So there we go. We now have 3 picks. But again, we ideally want to find a 5-pick entry. That's the optimal slip type on PrizePicks. So let's just refresh again. I'm not sure about a combo prop. Maybe, maybe not. Now, one thing I do like about PrizePicks is in esports, when you see players on the same team, so we can go through a simple example, is players on the same team in League of Legends are positively correlated to go the same direction. So League of Legends, like taking this guy to go under is positively correlated with this guy to go under. But anyways, why don't we just take here, let's go here and we can go to this. And we can take Sean Brady, or sorry, I want to go to the MMA. So where is Brady? So this play's been up for a bit, kind of, rounding out my slip. So let's refresh this and just kind of see if anything new is coming up. So we have some different options, right? We have over 2.5 total rounds, and Sean Brady versus Kevin Gastelum. Like, all the books, Pinnacle has ripped, we're following the market data. All these books have the over heavily favored. So that seems like a good play to go with. We have Clint Capella under 10.5 rebounds. So I don't love playing Clint Capella under 10.5 rebounds. We already have Bogdanovich under in points plus rebounds. So you don't want to take players on the same team, both to go under in rebounds. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. What about this play on Keontae George? We can take a look at this and load him up. There we go. They added him back in. So this game starts soon. And it also pairs pretty nicely, right? John Collins under in rebounds. If this game's a blowout, George and John Collins, if it's a blowout, maybe won't play as much in the fourth quarter. So these plays probably a little bit of positive correlation. So this seems like a pretty good PrizePicks slip to go with. And you can see anyone who's able to bet stuff on PrizePicks still for like $500, they don't know what they're doing, right? PrizePicks, they limit profitable bettors. So it kind of sucks, but it just is what it is. These books determine your max bet size, not you. Like Fliff, their max is 250 for anyone. I haven't really heard about people getting limited on Fliff, whereas PrizePicks, they hit me recently with limits to just, $250, which is frustrating because it used to be 400, which was obviously nicer. And I still have some of my NFL in-season plays available at that threshold, but whatever. So let's go to Underdog maybe next. I mean, damn, there's a lot of bets showing up. So you can see here, this line moved on us. It's not the end of the world. it's just like if you're a trader or an investor, sometimes you don't get the price you want. Move on to the next opportunity. Again, like the market's always moving, sharp action's coming in, injury news is coming out, who's playing, who's not playing, official starting lineups, like all this stuff moves around odds, moves around the lines, and all these books set lines independently, which is why there's always good bets coming out. But, move on to the next play. So we have Gobert under 28.5 PRAs. So you can see here, it's just been kind of like lines moving around. Pinnacle has this play at minus 158. So when I started sports betting, a professional bettor told me the best way to think about sports betting, if you want to make money, is, think about it like buying or trading a stock, right? This is like buying a stock at 120 when the other books, DraftKings, Caesars, two $10 billion companies, sophisticated books with, millions of customers, taking bets, moving around lines, sophisticated models, really good data feeds. They have this stock at 140, Pinnacle. They have this at 158, Bovada, 145. It's pretty clear that 120 is a buy, right? You want to be data-driven, kind of thinking about price. Everything boils down to price. So we can go here to the Jazz game. And again, ideally, we want to move as quickly as possible. And we want to take him under 28.5 at minus 120. So this play is slightly lower profit margin than this Lillard play, which we already locked in. Again, we're getting this play at plus 100, which is crazy, right? Like plus 100 is like flipping a coin with a friend, heads, tails for $100, but the coin is weighted in our favor, right? It's like flipping a coin for $100 where we have heads, but heads is a minus 150 favorite. Heads is going to occur a lot more often. That's how you want to think about it as a sports bettor. We're getting this play at plus 100, and all the other books we did on the live stream earlier. Now it's down to minus 110. But anyways, here we go. Lines kind of moving higher on Malik Beasley. And again, sometimes these lines move, based on, again, lineup changes, injuries, who's playing, who's not playing. That's a lot of times what moves the market. Weather changes, oftentimes you'll see weather, it's going to be snowing. That will move a total lower. Like you hear a lot of people say things like, it's going to be snowing, so I'm taking the under. But it's like that's already baked into the market, So that's why really the core of sports betting, kind of step one, is just trying to find value in the market, right? Like when you're finding value in the market, that's the best first step to, making money sports betting. Like if you're betting, just as a simple example, like if you're playing this guy, so let's go back here. If you're playing, June Howe over 4 kills, map 1-2, went on Underdog Fantasy, you can get him. Ooh, so we already bet that. I gave that out on Twitter. But when you can get him over 3.5 and you're betting over 4, you just know you're getting ripped off. And if you're getting ripped off, it's going to be really hard to, be a good sports bettor. But anyways, so let's see what else is out on Fliff. Or maybe we can make another PrizePicks slip. So here it's like, profit margins start to get lower. Plays start to get less attractive. LeBron under 8.5 rebounds. Anything on Underdog. I kind of bounce around from book to book, Never know which book is going to have the opportunity on a given day. So the more books, you obviously have access to, the better. It looks like some crazy line movements happening in this Lakers-Thunder game. But anyways. So we can go back here. I mean, a few plays on Underdog, but doesn't appear like there's as much value as PrizePicks right now, at least at the current time. But what is nice about Underdog is they give you good payouts for those 3-pick entries. It's obviously easier to find 3 good picks as opposed to. So here we go. We got LeBron under 32.5 points plus assists. So let's go here. I assume Anthony Davis is playing. given this line. So this game starts soon, so let's move quickly, right? We got LeBron points and assists. You can see here, every other book has his line at 31.5. It's kind of like being able to short sell a stock at 350 when it's trading in the market at, 324. So if we go to player points plus assists, and let's take a look at LeBron, and let's just see what's out there. So, all these other books have his line at 31.5. All these other fantasy sites, Underdog Fantasy, DraftKings actually, they not only have his line at 31.5, but they have the under favored. So it's like, okay, that seems like a great play to go with. And let's see what else we like. So now it's like in the last play, we took John Collins. Maybe now it's like, okay, what we can do is we can take Clint Capella. Under 10.5 rebounds. He went under the previous 2 games. Again, like everything's baked into the market. Every game is different. You can see here like FanDuel. Maybe it's lineup changes. Maybe it's just sharp action coming into the market. All of FanDuel's smarter customers are coming in on the under because you can see they have ripped the line from -102 to -140 on the under. So obviously FanDuel now believes that his under is more likely to occur than they did 20 hours ago, right? Which a lot of times is lineup driven, injury driven, stuff like that. So we have Cooks under 3.5 receptions. So we can go here. And again, like same strategy, PrizePicks, fixed payouts, all of the books. It's not just one book. All these books have slightly different models, taking slightly different action, but they all have them heavily favored to go under. So it's like, okay, that play seems good. We now have 3 picks, but we need to find 5. 5 pick flexes are, the optimal slip type on PrizePicks. So it's like, okay, we had this play on Bogdanovich in the Hawks game, points plus rebounds. So we don't want to touch this play on Capella. And damn, we have 3 unders to kind of start out this slip. And then it's just like, okay, Dame. I mean, this is just a full unders parade. Damian Lillard. So we can go here and let's go here. So this is just a full fade slip. And a lot of people like taking overs, but obviously a lot of the value is going to be on unders. It's just kind of how it works, especially when a lot of people are taking overs. So any final picks we want to go with, we can go here. And hopefully find, maybe George under 14.5 points. I mean, you can see Caesars has ripped him. All these books have ripped him to being pretty heavily favored. Caesars -163, Pinnacle -152. Like the data never lies. All of the books. It's not just one book. There's dozens of books all telling you George is a lot more likely to go under. We don't already have a play in the Jazz game, so there's no worries about like, oh, maybe these plays aren't correlated. This is just a straight up all different games, no correlation, all unders. And, if that's where the value is, that's where the value is. So there we go. Some of these games start in 10. All these games start pretty soon. So let's go here and let's just see what else we got. Too low of a profit margin. A lot of these games just started. You can see the board cleared out a bit. We just hit 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of the games are now starting in, whatever. A lot of the opportunities go away, which is always how it works. But that also means a lot of live bets, start to pop off. So live arbitrage is an amazing strategy once you kind of get the hang of it. But yeah, I mean, the board just cleared out pretty big. So now all we got is Cooks and some other crappy picks, some esports plays and stuff like that. But I mean, all these games are starting to get ripped off PrizePicks. So we'll call it a day for now. Enjoy the game. I mean, we locked in a variety of plays on this live stream, some underdog plays, some PrizePicks plays on the previous live stream, as well as a bunch of fluff plays. So let's make some money, guys. Thanks for tuning in.